It's an exciting day, my friends. Oh, you can't see my hand. There's my hand. It's an exciting day. We're here in person at the great Manta Trading. We're not sponsored by Manta Trading, but if you want to buy your singles and wax, you can buy it from Manta Trading. Just make sure you buy half from Banana Games. I'll pay
Yeah,
for
half and half.
I'll pay for your gas. Like, just make sure our sponsors are good
Okay,
here, right?
good.
Like both of our nice sponsors. So shout out to our boy Yeoman letting us record in his place. And as you can see, because we're on video now, we have a very special man next to us right here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's LittleDarkFury here.
Yeah.
I'm actually good friends with Anil and Kieran,
Yes,
so
sir.
it was perfect. I actually listened to your podcast.
I love it.
Yeah, I was listening to the one you uploaded yesterday at the time of recording this.
Yeah.
The LEIC Talk podcast. So I wanted to get on. I want to help grow the boys' channel. So I was like, gotta have me on, man.
I really appreciate that, man.
No
Like, yeah, you're
worries.
definitely. I don't know if you're one of the OGs in the Pokemon space, but you're definitely one of the big players now in the
Yeah.
YouTube space. I think you have a really great niche. You make all your like your meme deck content, so it's really appreciate having you on. Like, yeah, like you're saying, like we've known Matt since like we were about like 12 years old when we started. So
we go way back.
way back. So
Yeah,
like,
bro.
nah, maybe we can just start like. 'Cause I think everyone watches your YouTube, like they know you as LDF. Like maybe people can know you as Matt now. So can you kind of give us a bit of your history in the game, like when you started, like how long you've played, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think I started playing like what 2010, something like that.
I think you were like just the same time I started.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
2008.
yeah, maybe even farther back. Yeah,
could've
maybe,
been,
yeah. Because I think
You're
I
more OG than us.
Yeah. I started during the Diamond and Pearl era, like maybe
Yeah.
even before like the Platinums came out.
Yeah, I think my first league challenge was like with you. I
Mhm.
think so.
think,
You
yeah.
might have been a little bit before me even.
Yeah, it's a little blurry because it's like so long ago,
Yeah.
but I do
Yeah.
remember it was during that time. And yeah, I was playing from I guess 2008 all the way up to like 2013, and then probably like around when Plasma Freeze came out, I stopped playing. Cause I used to go to like a local league with like a Neil in Pickering.
Heroic Dreams.
Yeah, yeah. We used to go
That
there a
was the
lot.
spot,
It was
man.
the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go there with Sean and Ian all the
Oh my
time.
God.
Oh my God, that's
Bro.
yo! Shout out Sean Douglas.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Ian
Yo,
Douglas.
if
man.
somehow Sean Douglas is listening to this, respect. Like,
Bro, I haven't
respect.
seen him I haven't seen him forever.
Yeah, so many OGs. Yeah.
Crazy,
man,
it's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, but then I moved away, and then I like couldn't go to Pickering anymore. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then when I moved, I started doing YouTube videos because I was like really interested in YouTube at the time. My first videos were like Call of Duty videos that I
Okay.
recorded on my iPhone. I didn't have
sick.
I didn't have a capture card, so it was like really jank and
We're
ghetto.
definitely not recording on an iPhone right now. We're
Yeah.
Definitely not.
professionals.
Yeah,
Bro,
definitely not.
Couldn't be us, bro.
No, it couldn't be us.
Couldn't
Well,
be us.
recording from an iPhone to a TV though is like jank. Cause it's
That's
like,
more jank than whatever
it's
this
so
is.
such
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
quality.
you're right.
It was so bad. I had to like have my iPhone on like a little cushion I had, and then I had to like support it with like pillows. I'd be recording, and then like the thing would like fall over mid recording, so I had to
Nice.
pick it up. It was-
You didn't even have a tripod for your thing.
No,
Could, like,
it was
cut it
so
out and
bad.
restart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So were you like how like 13 or 14 at this point?
Yeah, it was when it was grade 10. It was grade 10.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was so bad, but I stopped playing Pokemon for like maybe like a year or so, and then I got back into it because I found out PCGO was like still a thing. So I was like, oh, I can just play the game like on my computer.
Yeah.
Why not? Bet. So I started it up in like probably like maybe the beginning of 2014 or like mid 2014 is when I started getting back into it. Like I remember I started playing back when Flashfire was like just coming out.
Okay.
So that was when I got back into it, and then I watched a lot of YouTubers at the time like Puka.
Bro.
That's the goat.
The
man.
top cut.
Bro.
That's the
Mm.
goat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Yeah.
He's what basically like my main inspiration for
Yeah.
YouTube. So I used to watch him a lot, and then I started getting into videos probably like uploading Pokemon content probably like the middle of 2014,
Okay.
and then I kind of just started doing that because I was like, I watched a Puka video, I'm like, all right, now I want to make videos, and
Yeah,
then
man.
I got addicted
Yeah.
to it. I was like, dude, I'm enjoying. Like I was already making YouTube videos. So I was like, all right, why not just like try Pokemon content instead? And obviously those videos were doing better. I mean, at the time I wasn't using OBS. I was using like some like jank software that had a watermark on it.
Again, couldn't be us. But hey,
Couldn't be us.
couldn't be
Yeah,
us. Yeah. We just paid $23.49 to get rid of that watermark, bro. Couldn't be us. But yeah, no, I hear that, bro. Like Puka signed our mats in like 2015.
Yeah, when we were
at
kids,
Worlds.
man. Like,
yeah, Puka was our guy.
It was amazing. Yeah. So
yeah.
cool. Like, okay, so you started that. So did you always start off kind of in this niche of playing these like kind of rogue decks, like really fun? Because I think that's why a lot of people really appreciate your content. Like, Pokemon can be very competitive, very intense, but like watching you just play these like really sick decks, like I think a lot of people enjoy. So is that kind of where you started, or did you start more on the competitive side?
First of all, are we allowed to say jank, or is that a forbidden word?
Nah,
Discover
use
content?
jank. Use
Jank?
jank.
Jank?
Yeah,
Okay.
jank decks. It
Your
is.
jank
Yeah,
decks.
it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
jank,
yeah.
very jank. Yeah. Honestly, bro, I've been playing rogue decks even back when I played IRL. I was the type of guy that would play a different deck every week. And when I was like 12, 11 years old at the time, bro. I didn't have the money to afford that, and I still did it.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it was bad. Like, I remember back in the day, I never owned a Luxray JL Level X because I was like the most expensive card back then. I never owned one because I couldn't afford it. But I was playing like the most like just jank rogue decks. It was so bad. And yeah, I just like I enjoy playing that type of decks. And I mean, at the time, there wasn't really any YouTubers doing that. Puka did upload like rogue decks.
Yeah, Bad Deck Monday.
Yeah.
No, I remember that actually.
Yeah. He posted like the memes and stuff. And sometimes like when a weird deck won a tournament or like did well in a tourney, he'd cover it, or he'd probably try to cover like all the new cards. So I was like, that was the type of content I also wanted to do.
Nice.
And then I started just doing the rogues because I always just like cooking. I even to this day, I still spend like hours on TCGO/live just building decks for content ideas. If I'm like, this is a deck that I think can do well on YouTube, is cool for content, looks fun to play, I'll make it and I'll try to like practice, make sure the deck works, and then I'll make a video on it. And back then I was doing the same thing. I think my first video on PDCGO, it's like private now, but like my first video I think was it was like a Landorus Mewtwo Raichu deck.
Oh, Neil loves that deck.
Yeah, that might have been
that
before.
deck might be forbidden from this podcast now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
that was my dog, man. That Flash Fire time when you got back, that was I think exactly aligned with our nationals that year.
Yeah,
I think that might have been even before Brandon Salazar did well with the deck. It might have been. I can't remember.
He just copied. He was watching your video.
Yeah, he copied me, bro. No, he didn't copy me.
Yeah, he copied.
But yeah, like I just love just playing like rogues. I'm not a big like meta guy. Like you couldn't catch me playing, the top decks right now. I would never play like Turbo Lost Box or Miraidon or Guardy. Like I'm always just playing like just weird stuff or just something that's like, even if it's competitive, like I don't want to play like something like terrible to a tournament, but like just something that's like a little off the wall. That's usually what I like to do. I've done like meta a few times for like major tournaments, but I always stick to the rogues. And back then, that was what I was doing. I was just uploading rogue decks, and I had like competition back then because back then there was another YouTuber who's also my second inspiration for YouTube, Yellow Swallow.
Yellow Swallow.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, it was.
Bro, he like vanished in 2020. It was weird. But he uploaded videos and like he kind of kept me like going because like I was obviously doing content at the time when he was doing videos, but his videos also kept inspiring me to just continue doing videos because my channel wasn't like growing that fast, especially compared to like other channels at the time that were getting big. And I was just like, he kept me going on YouTube. So shout out to Yellow Swallow. I don't know where he went. Like he literally vanished.
Shout out Yellow Swallow.
His channel's gone now.
Nice. Yo, shout out Dark and Pickle Gaming too. Man.
Yeah, Donald.
That was a.
I don't even
You don't know Dark and Pickle?
No, who the hell is
Bro,
that?
he was like the biggest channel before
for a while.
Mahomes' channel
really?
blew up.
Yeah. So okay, so you said you kind of had a slow growth here. So like, do you have maybe like a moment or like maybe one video where like it kind of popped off when you're like, okay, like I'm starting to see some traction here. Like it's really starting to work what I'm doing.
Honestly, no, it's weird because like back then I used to upload like every other day or like every day for the most part. I never really had a video that like just went so viral. I had like a mini series I used to do where I would go on the PDCGO public trades and I would like roast the bad trades. It was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah,
that's kind of jokes though. I'd watch that.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. That video, that was like my first video I think to ever hit like 10K views or something.
Okay.
I've had like a few like deck tutorial theme deck videos get like 10K views back in the day. So I remember back then when I got 1,000 views, I got hyped. But yeah, back then it was like I didn't really have any videos that like blew up. I've had like when a new set comes out, views are usually a bit higher. So like sometimes the videos would do about, but I never had a video like just pop off that exploded my channel. I think honestly, what maybe kept me going was and staying in the YouTube scene was probably just the consistency. That's maybe the best way to describe the growth of my channel is just the flat out consistency, right? So
and like it's good for you as well because. Well, you have the idea. You said you spent a lot of time like making these decks, right?
Yeah.
You can sit back and relax, knowing that whatever jank deck you create, it's still monetary. Like you still have some success being brought out of that.
Exactly.
Whereas I think like players who play the game competitively, like maybe like they don't have that. Like,
no, they don't.
If like I don't know, like Azul could do it. Those guys with big platforms could do it. But like if you think of like some of like the best players in the world, like maybe like Stepan Ivanov, for example, who doesn't do a lot of content, he can't waste his time doing this.
No, he can't.
He needs he's trying to do well at tournaments. He wants to make money.
Yeah.
Whereas you can sit there and you're like, this is my job. I can play jank for a living.
Yeah.
That's kind of sick.
That is insane that you've monetized at jank. So so for anyone who doesn't know, Matt does or LDF does content full time.
Don't release his gubby like that.
Yeah. Not the government.
Not the government.
I've been on stream before, so everyone knows my name now.
Yeah, so you're a full-time content creator. So maybe when you were in high school, you started was your dream maybe to be a full-time content creator? Were you maybe like, I don't know if you went to school or you did like other jobs before? Like, what was kind of the journey where you're like, I need to become I want to become a content creator full time? Like, how did you actually realize that goal?
So back in the day, so when I was in high school, I did do YouTube still. Like I posted all the time in high school, and I'm not gonna lie, like back then, like most of my friends knew I did videos and stuff, and even some of the teachers. Bro, I had one class where the guy would like the teacher would play my videos like on the smart board before class started as like a joke.
That's jank.
Just to meme on me. It's
That's
too
tough.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like it was like no like ill intent, but it was just like kind of like a meme in like the
Yeah,
class
yeah.
or whatever. And then like my teachers were like, I guess they were like supportive of my content. I guess like off topic here, I was like a huge fan of high school. I really liked high school for the record. I just want to
loved
get
high
that
school.
early. Yeah, a
Okay.
lot of people hate high school because they
Yeah.
didn't like the schoolwork. I loved high school, and part of that core memory of why I like high school so much kind of does go back to like me like kind of being like a small YouTuber at the time, and all the teachers and my friends kind of like it was kind of like a meme in the inner circle.
Yeah, it's like nostalgia because like you made it now, so you can be like,
Mm-hmm.
that was the origin
The
story.
origin story, yeah.
You peaked in high school.
I did.
You
I
did.
honestly-
You
I
actually
might
did
have
it.
It's weird. It's like
Uh-huh.
I peaked. I was popular in high school, no cap. But like
Yeah.
I might have peaked in high school, but then like I guess now my channel's
No,
like
you're doing great
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. You actually
It's
didn't
weird.
peak in high school.
Yeah.
Most people do peak in high
They
school.
do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Mhm.
bro.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So were you always Little Dark Fury back then? Has that always been the channel?
Yeah, even that, so the origin story of my name is back when I first got my Xbox 360 in like I think it was 2012. I needed a gamer tag.
Oh god.
And my friend Craig just randomly came up with the name, and I'm like, okay, bad, I'll just run with it.
Man like Craig.
Craig, yeah. shout out
Dude,
to
mine
Craig.
was like they give you like the jank ones when you
Yeah,
sign up,
they
right?
give you-
I think mine was like Purple Cat 54 or
Oh,
something.
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna pull up Bob, man.
Oh, Bobman was good too, actually. Yeah, I did YouTube, not
Yo,
successfully,
did-
clearly.
And you
but-
know, like
man.
both did it when we were kids.
We
but
did.
We would open packs. We wouldn't
yeah,
like make content.
and we'd like sit there and we'd like act like we knew things. Like I remember one time I opened this tin, right? And I was like pulling out the packs and I was like feeling them, like, yo, this one feels kind of heavy. I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like telling the camera, like, yo, this feels pretty heavy. And I pulled a level X. I'm like, yo, I told you. And the entire comment section was just toasting me, like, you dumb idiot. Like, it's grams, bro, not pounds. You can't tell.
So that was
That's
so
joke.
funny,
That's a
man.
joke. That's
It's actually
joke.
kind of sad. Like my high school story is a bit worse here. So I used to have my channel, like Anil used to have. It was
Mm-hmm.
CF Love and Basketball was my handle, and I actually
Yeah.
had like 1,000 subscribers when I was in like ninth grade.
Yeah. Back then, that was good.
Yeah, and like
That's pretty good.
all the
Yeah.
kids in my school found it, and they started just like bullying me for it, and I
Oh.
deleted it. And like honestly, like
Yeah.
I gave into the peer pressure. That was
Yeah.
bad. That was one of my big regrets. But no, it was really funny. Like back in the day, I think by the time I graduated high school, by the time I was in grade 12, like everyone thought Pokemon was like the coolest thing. Like they're, like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're going to like San Francisco, Vancouver for like worlds, for tournaments, like you're doing well. Like, so I think yeah, like my message if we have any younger listeners, like Pokemon is cool. Don't
It
let
is
anyone tell
very
you.
cool.
It's also changed it a lot, though.
Yeah,
it has,
that's
like
but-
now I think it's like overall, and like I've known this just because like from my inner circle and how they've reacted to like just kind of comparing it over time.
Yeah.
It's way more accepted now.
It
Yeah.
is.
In general, like way more accepted.
Accepted, yeah,
And, like
it's-
people think it's like the coolest
cool.
thing.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
do.
Like the coolest thing. Like I'm telling people, like, yeah, I'm going to Brazil next week. They're like, for what? And I tend to beat around the bush because I don't want to explain the whole
You
Pokemon
definitely
thing.
do
Yeah,
beat
Yeah,
around the
I beat
bush.
around the bush. I'm like, yeah, I'm going whatever. But it eventually comes out like, yeah, it's Pokemon. They're like, yo, that is freaking sick, dude. Like once people understand it, it's pretty cool.
They think it's sick,
But back
yeah.
in the day when we were kids, it's like, Pokemon, loser.
Loser,
Get pushed
yeah.
into a mud bank.
Yeah.
I think also like I don't know about you guys, but for me myself, like I had like kind of internalized, like I was a little like scared, like how people would
Internalized
react.
stigma.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same here.
yeah.
Same
But
here.
then like you like tell people like either they don't care or they're like, oh, that's cool.
Cool,
Like,
yeah.
So like,
It's-
I've never
weird.
had a bad reaction. Now
Yeah.
that I think about it, like
the
never.
worst is just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and like, but normally what happens is like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I probably like a few hundred times a year have to explain like
Explain,
Pokemon,
yeah.
like what I do. 'Cause, like,
Mhm.
and I'm like with friends at a party, they're like, oh, Kieran plays Pokemon, does this, or like
Yeah.
my colleagues at work, like they tell people.
You're a lot
so-
more advertised than I am, I think. Like you advertise it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're proud of
Yeah,
it, which is
I
good.
am
Like
proud
that's
of
how
it,
it
yeah.
should be. Like I hide it more so because I have like that internalized stigma.
Can we,
Yeah.
Like-
can we expose the story about you and Elaine or no?
God.
That story, yeah, go for it.
So I remember
Go for
like
it. Yeah.
when Anil was
I like
da-
that story actually. It's a
So
good
when
story.
Anil was dating his current girlfriend, like they just started dating.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
would have been what, like 4 or 5 years
5
ago.
years
Anil?
ago, yeah.
5 years ago. So we went to like a league cup in like Niagara Falls, and Anil wouldn't tell his girlfriend what he was doing on the weekends. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm with my boys." Like where? Niagara Falls. Doing what? I'm just with the boys.
I was with my boys.
So like, and she must have been thinking the worst. Like this guy's kind of like sketch. Like he's like doesn't tell me what he's doing. Like he's like probably hanging out with other girls. Then it's like, no, this guy's spending his
Or-
weekends playing Pokemon
or she
cards.
just believed it.
Or she believed it.
Believed it,
But
yeah.
it was just. But then I remember like you told her, and like
Yeah,
wasn't she
yeah.
just like, oh, like why?
Oh no,
would
I
you-
told her after, and she was just like, "Why did you even bother like hiding
Yeah.
this?" It's just jokes. And now
Yeah,
it's like it's a funny story.
Yeah.
But like at the time, I was like, "Bro, I'm like, I don't want to tell anybody this thing, man. It's too much work to like explain." Sometimes you're like, "Yeah, I like play Pokemon." They're like, "Oh, So like the video games, I'm like, no, like the cards. I'm like,
Card,
so
yeah.
how does that work? Hey, you guys have been through like billion
Yeah.
Oh,
times.
billion times,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
My go-to is like, oh, it kind of plays like chess or like something
I just
like
say
that.
chess and poker together because
Yeah.
people those are the two most popular games. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, to bring it back, Matt, to where we were, like maybe when did you figure out like you could do this like full time, or like when was that like your goal when you realized? So you were talking about high school, but like like keep the timeline going.
Yeah. So yeah, after high school, when I transitioned into college, I kept up with the content. I went in, my first year in college was when Shining Fates came out. I literally remember I was sitting in one of my classes and I had like my brightness on my computer down low because I didn't want to see any, like I didn't want my classmates seeing me on TCGO.
It's one of those.
Yeah, and like Shining Fates had just come out on PCGO, and I remember opening up like 2 packs in class, and I pulled like the Rainbow Rare Zoric GX, and at the time that was like the big card to pull, and I like freaked out in class. I'm like, oh my god, like holy shit. So I guess I'm allowed to swear.
It's
I'll
okay.
leave it out after, man.
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna update our show policy. That's what we'll do.
No, we're family friendly, so I'll bleep it out. But
Yeah,
we're
my
good.
bad,
We're good.
my
We're
bad.
good. We're
I got
good.
like hyped for a sec. Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
Yo, what I pulled up while we were talking is the top 8 Canadian Nationals results from when Matt got back into the game. This is what it used to look like. Like a lot of these players still play, but you can see the jank. You would have like thrived if you started making jank videos in like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Like there's so much jank here. Like what is any of this?
Raichu, Crobat, Toad.
No, like Anil got top 4 at Nationals this year. Like I'm not gonna lie, like this is probably the worst deck to ever top 4 Canadian Nationals.
Ever.
Raichu, Landers, Garbodor.
Like, cause you played a 1-1 Raichu line and 1 Mewtwo, and you played like 4 DCEs.
One Halucha, one
One
Lucario.
Halucha. I heard you beat Estrada, like Andrew Estrada, like a
Yeah.
great player. He was playing Lambat, so I don't know how you beat him in that matchup. But
And
Anil
Lambat's
was
a
just
jank though. Leafeon and Flareon though.
yeah, that's true actually.
Yeah.
So Anil's like the goat of the jank.
He's the go to the jag.
Anil's the goat of,
Yeah, goat of the jank, though.
of Canadian Nationals jank.
Canadian National Jag. I like to binder drop sometimes, but like
Yeah.
that was when you could binder drop. I don't.
Yeah, now I think it's too hard to
you
bind
can't.
it down.
Like
100%.
everything's too optimized.
yeah.
Like I've tried, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was like looking back on that, like so many of those players still play, but like you would have done really well in the jank era. Everything was
Honestly,
jank.
yeah. I kind of regret like not going into like more tournaments more like back when I started playing again, because I mean some of the tournament results did inspire me to make videos on like certain cards. Like I remember when like a tournament would finish or whatever, it would be posted on. I don't know if Limitless existed back then. But
No, it
It
didn't.
would be posted like on like a different website. I
It was
forget
like
what it was.
Charizard Lounge for
Yeah,
a
it
while.
was, it was that or 6 prizes
All those
even.
like paid websites, and there's like the battle for who's gonna get your membership subscription.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
60
Oh,
cards.
God.
I'm forgetting some, but
Jeez, yeah, there's one with like the number 1. There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Charizard
There
Lounge.
was,
There's
yeah.
a bunch. Yeah. But
Yeah.
like it's so different now with like Limitless and stuff that like
So
anything
different.
that you come out with is probably publicized like so fast.
Yeah.
Like even if one of your jank creations wins a regionals, like people will have known about it before because of Limitless,
Limits, yeah.
which is crazy.
It is crazy. I've had like some decks before like that I do well in an online tournament on Limitless, and it's like they check me out on Twitter. It's like crazy.
You're like, yo, that's me.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I made that deck.
Yeah, that was me.
That
bro.
deck you lost to, that's my deck.
nice. So, do you mind me asking, what did you go to college for?
Yeah, so in 2017 I went to college. At first I went for interactive media design,
Okay,
which
so
is
you knew that you liked this space, like
yeah, it was like coding websites and stuff, but
Okay.
bro, I sucked at it. It was so bad. I like almost failed one of my classes. So I dropped out of that, and then I took 2018 I went into human resources instead.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, since you had YouTube and stuff, I wanted to do something like business related.
Mhm.
But yeah, so the story goes on afterwards. So in college I still did YouTube. I really remember too when Ultra Prism came out. I wanted to get a video out like ASAP to try to like
Yeah.
capitalize on that. So I booked a study room at my college during college.
You went to DC?
Yeah, I went to
Nice,
DC.
nice, nice.
I booked a study room in
Yeah.
Durham College, and I literally recorded a video in there. And I think maybe like 2 people like tried to like walk in on me like, "Well, it was my room." I'm like, "Nah, bro, it's booked."
Yeah,
Like,
like
you-
during the video.
Yeah, it was so jank. It
if
was
you've
so
ever been to a
bad.
university library, like our listeners, like the
Mhm.
awkwardness of going into
Oh
a
my
room.
god!
Like,
Yeah.
Into a study room you don't know? Oh
yeah,
man,
dude.
it's
I had
terrifying.
people coming in like
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, I have this room booked." I'm like, "No, I do." They like had the wrong number or something. I'm like trying to record a video. It was
Yeah.
so crazy. But I do have a video that I recorded in my study room at college, which just like to this day is just like the funniest thing ever.
Truly humble beginnings.
Yeah, truly humble beginnings.
That's,
Yeah.
that's sick though.
Yeah.
And then, so now that you're like well established and you're doing your thing now, you're obviously successful with what you do.
Mhm.
What are your next steps? Like, what do you see kind of from up here? Are you gonna keep creating jank, or like, is there like another
Yeah.
step to this whole thing? Like, what's the plan here?
I think I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. The rogue decks do well. I enjoy playing them. I enjoy building them. It's a lot of fun. The nice thing too is like every day I'm playing a new deck, so I'm not like playing like, oh, today's video is gonna be on Turbo Lost Box with a Town Storm and a Bravery Charm, and then tomorrow's video Turbo Lost Box with out Town Storm and Bravery Charm. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing something different every day, something unique. It actually keeps me coming back to the game. That's why I really haven't been like burnt out yet, because I just have something new to do every day, right?
100%.
So
and you have, if I'm not mistaken, you have like a second channel where you do more like competitive content, right?
Yeah.
So you get the nice little mix there. Because I definitely feel like I've in the past kind of got burnt out from Pokemon, but I do think if you're just playing like these fun decks like all the time, like I think it really helps keep it fresh. Like like I did a video on my channel where I called it like Bad Deck IRL, where like I just played Torterra at like a locals, and like it was just so funny. I'm like, this is so fun. Like just playing like I obviously would never do that at regionals or something. But just like doing that at locals just reminded me like Pokemon's supposed to be fun. Like there's more to it than just the competitive aspect of the game. So I think you capture that like perfectly, and it sounds like that's what keeps you going. So
yeah, it's nice. And I guess my other like next big step probably would be to like do something with like TPci. Like I've been like given like free stuff before from them, like free product when like a new set releases. But they give that out to a ton of YouTubers. I like something like unique. Like I know Mahone did like a series with them where he uploaded like a what was it called? Like a Top Deck Academy. That's what it was. Yeah. He did like a Top Deck Academy series on their Pokemon channel, like something like that, something like unique to them. Like maybe do an article for their website or cast a tournament. That's another big thing I'd love to do one day is cast one of their tournaments. So that's probably my next big step is to work with TPci and do something with them. I think that would be sick.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing. Like, I think casting a tournament's like a goal for a lot. I feel like that's a goal I have for myself as well. So, no, that's awesome. Also, I'm gonna need you to help me get the free product hookup, man.
Yeah, I got you. I think there might be some issues right now because the person I think is going to like a new position or something. So we're transitioning, but I'm like 100% when the next set comes out, I'm gonna like see if I can. If not by then they haven't talked to you, I'm like gonna try to hook you up, bro. I got you.
I appreciate you. I was half joking, but
take that guy's
free cards.
Take the guy's job and then bless all the boys.
yeah. All the Manta boys get free product.
Yo, everybody here gets free product.
Yeah.
Like I've seen their job postings from time to time at TPci. They're all really interesting.
Yeah,
they are. I think they had a new one just go up like a few days ago or like last week or something. Yeah.
Okay,
talent manager or something, or it was something like that.
Oh, I think it was a content talent outreach or something.
See, so we're getting like a new
like influencer. I remember in the post.
Yeah,
because I'm curious too. So I just like looked on LinkedIn sometimes at what they post. But the one thing is, if you work for TPci, you can't do tournaments anymore. So like,
no, I know it's kind of grief. Yeah,
it is a little grief, but
yeah, because I know Puka he can't play in tournaments. Neither does Kenny or anyone or Mia.
Yeah. So
that's
awesome.
a trade-off you're willing to take.
Yeah, it is honestly. Yeah. Like, it's like a dream job. Like
screw it. Yeah, dude, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if we could still make videos. That's actually interesting because the reason why Puka left YouTube was because he got a job offer at TPci, but then he couldn't make videos. I wonder if that was part of the deal. Like, if you're with TPci, you can't make YouTube content.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That would suck.
If you ever work there, you gotta negotate that in. Be like,
I would.
There's so
I don't know
many like NDAs and stuff.
Yeah,
like you can't
no
do anything, bro.
I mean, I feel like the reason like they would hire someone like LDF is because like they would want him to like produce content on their channel. Like, I think there's a huge. They've kind of made steps now. Like they have articles on their site. I see like Pord writes them sometimes. Like, Chris writes them sometimes. So I definitely think they're like making steps towards their own content. But like, I don't see why TPci like what they do with Mahone. Like why they can't just do that frequently. Like they could have their like own official podcast and show. And, like I feel like you'd be like a great host for that, or like if they had like a weekly series, like. So yeah, definitely. If anyone TPci is listening,
it's awesome, bro.
I think they don't need more money, man. They don't even care about this right now. Like I think that'd be a great next step for them. But they make so much money that I don't think they care.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the client we got, right?
Bro, like
they don't need. It's so jank.
Yeah, I think the individual people who work there care, but it's a little bit hard because
it's
a big company and Pokemon's split between like 3 different entities. So yeah, but that'd be awesome, man. I really hope one day. I don't see why they wouldn't pick you. So
yeah, I think it'd be sick one day, right?
Yeah.
I would be the next.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to like content for a second.
Yeah.
Not YouTube content, but actual content. At Commanded Paradox Rift, there's like a cajillion different cards that are like remotely viable.
Yep.
What are your like top 3 like jank picks out of Paradox?
Yeah, this is good because Paradox Rift has so many cards, and like the nice thing too is when a new card comes out, it can impact how an old deck plays, and then you can revisit that. So it's like there's just so much content. Paradox Rift, there's a lot of content. I think jokingly yesterday I said on stream when I was streaming, I was like, I wish I could upload 5 videos a day because I could do that realistically with how much content there is right now with Paradox Rift being out, but I just physically can't do it.
Yeah.
But my favorite decks so far that I've been playing have been Zorobox, which has Jirachi now.
Yeah.
And just is like good against all these like big EX beat stick decks like Shempow, Iron Hands, Miraidon, Roaring Moon, stuff like that. Really enjoyed Cloth. That's just
Yeah,
been like
Cloth's
a
a
Cloth
fun
such
deck.
a
jokes. Cloth is
stupid
jokes.
deck.
Yeah.
I played it today because I had to make a video for the Shovel Squad, and I made a video on the Cloth deck. I just like queued up 2 games, and like both games I just like beat them in like under 10 minutes. I was like, all right, Electrode, KO 3 Shampows, and then against Miraidon, I just like KO'd with 3 Cloth. It was so funny.
Dude, that's lit.
Yeah.
That's
That's
sick.
awesome. So,
And
or is it finish your thought?
yeah. My third deck that I was thinking of that I liked a lot was Serena EX.
Serena EX,
With
that deck
Panic
is cool.
Mask.
I almost lost to it yesterday.
Really?
Well, 'cause I didn't even know what I was facing,
That's true,
and then
that's
all of a
true.
sudden,
Yeah,
like I'm like, what is going on? Like this guy's not knocking out anything. And, like I had like a full bench. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh wait, I'm about to get locked.
Yeah,
so
that's
Yeah.
joke. That's joke. Yeah,
That's
I
sick.
put out like a joke tweet on Twitter about it. I was like, "How do you beat this?" Because my board, I was playing against Guardy, and I pinged every Pokemon that could attack me with the Serena, and then my entire board was just Pokemon with Panic Mask. I'm like, "How do I lose to this?"
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah. Those have been my 3 favorite decks so far, but I'm probably gonna find more because like
Yeah.
there's so many things to play right now.
Are you going to LASC?
No.
You're not, eh?
I'm skipping it. Not
Damn,
skipping it.
okay.
I wanted to go, but honestly, after seeing like the registration process, how bad it was, I'm kind of
Yeah.
glad I didn't.
Yeah,
I am going
that
to San
was-
Antonio though.
Oh, okay,
You're going to San
nice.
Antonio? Okay.
Yeah.
What's your idea right now with the meta? Like, what are your kind of personal top picks going into that?
I think like Roaring Moon, Shenpao Iron Hands, Miraidon Iron Hands, those are going to be like very popular because they're fairly easy to play. Shenpao's a little bit harder because you have the sequence pretty well, but like Iron Hands, Roaring Moon, Miraidon, stuff like that, they're pretty easy decks to play, and I think they're going to be very popular because the meta right now is just 2 prize race basically, and you have like decks like Gardevoir which are doing pretty well right now with like the Screamtail and the Avery and stuff, but I would expect to just see those be the 3 most popular decks, and then I think decks like Lugia, Guardy, maybe like some kind of like Lost Zone deck like Giratina or the Sableye Cramorant Charizard deck. And Charizard EX also. I think those are like kind of below those decks. Those are like the 3 decks right now that I would say you probably need to know how to beat or like have a good matchup against them because those are going to be the 3 most popular decks.
Yeah. So you kind of said like you enjoy playing more of these like rogue decks in real life. So maybe can you give me some like examples, maybe like the past season, what type of decks you've been playing, and then maybe even like if you went to San Antonio, like are you looking to play like a Zorobox type deck, like that kind of thing?
So the rogue decks I played, to Toronto, I played a Lugia V-Star deck with a 1/1 Duraludon.
Oh, yeah, I remember
I
that.
was trying to hit the mirror, man, and I thought Dura was actually kind of like clever because like maybe if I hit like a Goodra, I'd like beat them.
Yep.
But like my tournament run just didn't do well. Like, I didn't hit a single Lugia, obviously, and then I hit 2 Miraidons back to back, put me out of the tournament. Last year in Toronto, I played a Lugia V-Star Mewtwo V-Union deck.
Okay.
Before that, because that was the tournament where Mewtwo won.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like nobody really expected Mewtwo. And the deck, like I played it to Manta the weekend before, and
Yeah.
I got.
I think I remember
second.
that.
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
like 5-1. I got like second place. My one loss, I think, was like a brick or something.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this deck just because why not? And then it was a good call because round 3 I hit Grant Manley, or it was round 4. I was like 2 or 3-0 at that point. It's like the first game they had on the stream. I got paired against Grant Manley, so they put me on stream for the first time. But Grant was playing Zekrom Lost Box, and like I couldn't beat that, and I could get Mewtwo out quick enough to beat him. But that was a fun rogue deck. Unfortunately, I went 5-4. I lost my chance at getting CP. I played against Mew VMAX, and then because I played Crobhat VMAX in my deck at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just game 3 I just bricked, so it was
Yeah.
unfortunate. But
So would you basically say like if you do play a meta deck, like there needs to be some LDF spice in there? Like, will I ever see you playing like a stock 60 Lugia or a stock 60 Roaring Moon?
you will. In Pittsburgh, I played a stock 60 Lugia. I played like a pretty
Okay.
similar 60 to what like Andrew Hedrick had
Yep.
in top 8. And then I guess like the other like rogue deck I played was, well, it wasn't really a rogue deck, but it kind of counts. At Hartford, when I got top 32, I played Arceus Duraludon Umbreon, which at the time was considered a bit of an underdog deck before, it just popped off that tournament. And then I played it again to NEIC, which I don't think it was a rogue deck for NEIC, but it kind of was like another like deck.
That was just
nobody
like coming
saw
out
coming.
party, I feel like.
Yeah. So that was like another example of that. But
So
I
you're like half in, half out with
Yeah.
the rogue. Like it's nice for content, but then sometimes you just want to win, right? Like,
yeah. I used to be a Reggie, just like a Reggie
Yeah, I
like
remember that.
slave back
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
beginning of
yeah.
the year, and then I played Eternus to Charlotte, which was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But-
Sick.
Yeah, so you definitely like to spice it up basically. Like
Yeah, I like to play like under the radar, like niche type decks to a tournament that are still like competitive, like Reggie's or Eternatus or Arc Dura Umbreon, stuff like that.
Yeah, like
But-
you can have success with all those decks, but yeah, like people not that won't be prepared, but like they won't expect it as much as maybe playing like something like a Lugia, playing something like a Gardevoir. or
Gardevoir,
something
yeah,
like that.
exactly, yeah. Like I don't think I'd ever be able to do like a Lost Zone deck to regional or even like Charizard or something. Like I like to keep it kind of rogue, even for
Yeah.
those tournaments, or just kind of like under the radar decks type thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense. So I guess another question I have for you then is, so you spend a lot of time working with these like rogue decks. Like how much time do you spend with like competitive decks, like the meta decks, then compared to how much time you spend now with the rogue decks?
Competitive decks sometimes. I mean, there's times where I just like have to grind PDCG live because the ladder resets.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Don't even get me
yeah.
started.
It's so
so
bad. It's
bad.
so grief. It's so
Yeah.
grief. And as a content creator, I can't be like posting games against like just like people who are like playing like binder drop new decks. Like
Yeah.
I actually have to show like decent games.
Yeah,
So it's like I gotta grind it. My usual like go-to grinding decks are usually like the competitive decks. I like to play Lugia. I like to play the Save Like Kramer and Charizard deck. That was before Obsidian Flames. That was like my main ladder grind deck. But that deck's a lot of fun to play on PCG Live. I usually like go play them if I have to grind the ladder or if I have to just kind of practice for a tournament. I've played my odd fair share of like competitive decks to even like Manta's like tournaments. I've played Kyogre to them before. I've played Sableye Cramsar before. But I keep it rogue sometimes when I come here, but I do tend to play a competitive deck sometimes. But like yeah, it's good for like practice or just ladder grinding. That's usually what I use it for.
So like just playing a lot of rogue decks, like has that helped you maybe like deck building meta decks? Like do you think like maybe I think a lot of people maybe like they see like for example like back in Silver Tempest formats like this is the Lugia build, like everyone just copies it, they don't try and innovate. So do you think you working so much with rogue decks and all these wacky ideas like it helps you have like a fresh approach to all these meta decks?
Well, 100%. I guess some good examples are during the Silver Tempest meta. I think I played it to Manta. It was a Lugia V-Star Gudra V-Star deck.
Oh god.
Because I found out you can use Coding Metal and Wash Energy with Gudra.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, bet we're gonna play that. And I thought that was like a really funny deck. I think I played like Lugia V-Star Malamar VMAX 2 to a tournament at Manta. So like whenever like I go through all these decks, I just see cards. I'm like, this could be good right now if I played it. So like I'll be like, all right, Lugia Malamar, Marnie, Roxanne, Path Spam, stuff like that. And I was like, all right, this could work in the Lugia format, right? So there's times where the competitive deck will like influence like, okay, this is the competitive meta right now. There's definitely like a way to play like just some jank card and do well with it because it's like there's so many cards right now in the format that a lot of people just kind of miss out on these like little cards. That's why stuff can sneak under the radar like that.
Yeah. Your card knowledge must be like immaculate. You probably know like every
It's
single
I literally do. I actually think if my opponent had a card in the active spot, I wouldn't have to read it. Like I actually think that I know like most. It's crazy, but it's actually true. I do know what almost every card
like
does.
there also is something to be said about the fact that you've tried so many decks and you've played so many decks that it just makes you better. Like it just
does,
like
yeah.
you play all these decks with like different lines and you're not like thinking in that mentality of like all the same meta decks, right? Like for me, for a while I was playing like Lost Box everything. Like everything was Lost Zone. And then when I left Lost Zone I went to Lugia. I'm like, how do I even play this again? But you having that exposure to like everything every single day, I'm sure you can attribute a lot of your success as a player to that, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the card knowledge and just kind of knowing what every card does and just playing like random stuff all the time, it gives me like an idea of when I'm playing against a deck on the ladder when I'm recording a video, I'm like, in the game I plan ahead. I'm like, okay, this is probably how I have to beat this deck. And it does, like, I would say makes me a better player because, I don't do too much practicing and, like, testing and coaching outside of content. Like, mainly my main source of just playing the game right now is just, like, either coming to, like, a tournament here or just content creation. Like, I don't really practice or I don't get coached. I don't coach people. I don't play test with that many people. Like, I just kind of, content just kind of lets me kind of just practice.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of feel that because like now that I've kind of started doing content, like I do coaching all the time, like have a 9 to 5 jobs. Like I find I don't even have that much time to actually practice. So it's maximizing like just the league cups, the tournaments, like the even recording sessions, coaching sessions. Like that's just how you have to get your games in.
And when you do have that time too, it's not like you're like dying to play either. Like you have all like
you want to break from Pokemon.
Dude, you're like you have so much exposure to the game that you're like, please, just no, not today, please.
Yeah. I like people have reached out to me before, like, yo, can I get coaching from your LDF? Like, I'm not on Metafire or anything, and I'm like, dude, I can't do coaching. My time just doesn't permit it because I'm a pretty like social person. Like, I obviously have like a lot of friends outside of YouTube and stuff, so I can't really like if I'm like. There's days where I would literally want to live stream, and then my friend will message me, be like, yo, want to hang out? And I'll be like, all right, bet. And then I'll just cancel the live stream.
Yeah, 100%. I do the same thing.
Yeah. Like, I don't put, like, my friends first, but if my friend wants to hang out, I will, like, try to find time to do that instead of just, like, spending time streaming or making an extra video or something. Like, I always get the video done first. Like, if I'm going to hang out with a friend or we make plans on that day, and if it's super early in like the afternoon or morning when I like don't have a lot of time to film, I'll try to like get the video done as soon as possible to hang out with them. But just because I have such a busy social life, like I don't really just make time for for like the coaching or anything. I just stick it to content basically.
Yeah, that's important to be honest. I think something I struggled with last year when I was doing that whole like top 16 chase. Like I was literally like on the road like almost every weekend. Like I was just like I would barely see my friends. Like I didn't see my family that often because I would like work during the week like 9 to 5, and then like Friday like morning or Friday night, it's okay, I gotta fly or drive to whatever tournament. That's like I get home at Sunday like 1 a.m. It's like all right, wake up 9 a.m. back on the work grind. So it's like tiring, and I think it's really important that you like find a balance. So yeah, maybe like what are some things like you love to do like outside of Pokemon?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, other than like hanging out with my friends and stuff, I don't really do too much outside of like content.
Go
Like,
to Oshwa Center.
yeah. I go to the OC a lot. Yeah,
OC's the spot,
or like
bro.
Vaughn Mills or whatever. My friend
yeah.
like loves Vaughn because he's a YouTuber and films like abandoned houses for YouTube, and he goes to Vaughn a lot because there's a lot of abandoned stuff.
Those
out
guys
there.
go missing a lot. You gotta keep it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
These guys go missing a lot, bro.
Yeah.
That's good though. Like it's good to have like a balance. And I think people, I think people like what Kieran said. Like people underestimate how important that is. Like a lot of people just have like Pokemon friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like that's cool. Like if that's you, that's cool. But like you need a break from this game sometimes. Otherwise, you burn out really fast. And when you've been around the game as long as us, you realize like how many times you've kind of got like in and out of the game as you've grown up. Just because like other things come up. Like maybe you're in school, maybe you're working. Yeah. Whatever. For me, like a big thing was sports growing up. Like I had to balance sports with this, and I'm still not really able to do it. Like, it's really, really difficult. So like you got to just find your niche, and like what you said, I think is really key. Like you have that time where you're like, okay, live streams first. But then you have that time where if your boy links you, you're like, sorry, live stream.
Yeah, like
it's what it is.
How it is, right? Yeah. What was I gonna? I was gonna say something. I forget now. I'm drawing a blank. I was gonna say something, and I just completely forgot.
Hey, bro, that's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, like other than that, like obviously we've tapped into like your whole content creation side. What about you as a player? What are your aspirations as a player? Like, do you want to go to Worlds? You want to be successful enough to be a caster? Like, what is your kind of overall as a player? Like, I know you started recently going to more tournaments, like kind of opening up your that side of you. Like, what's your idea there? Yeah,
so I definitely want to try to get my Worlds invite one day. Maybe this season could be it. I'm not doing great right now. I'm like 86, 92 CP or something right now.
You're so young. Like you have so much time.
Bro, there's like 10 months left. Don't worry.
I know. I got time. There's a lot more tournaments next year to go to and stuff. And I'm gonna try to go to EUIC now, NEIC. But yeah, so I would like to get my Worlds invite. I think I actually could have got it last year. If I went to more cups and challenges last season, I think I could have got it.
I agree. I think you could have gotten it.
Finished the season at like 263 CP.
Yeah, you definitely could have gotten it.
You could have gotten
it. I was like, I should have went, dude. Like I had a top 32 finish, like a day 2 at Orlando. I was like, I easily could have got it.
Yeah.
So I'm like a little annoyed I didn't do that. But like at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to Japan because actually Japan would have gone in the way of Obsidian Flames content because at the time, like Obsidian Flames had come out during the Worlds Championships, and I like staying home making new videos and streaming all the new decks and stuff, especially when all the other YouTubers were away, was good for my channel.
Yeah, and you get a lot of press too. Like Pokemon World Championships happening right now. People go on YouTube like Pokemon, LDF.
Yeah, boom.
Sick. Let me click on this video.
Charizard, so let me watch this
Let me
video.
watch this jank.
Yeah.
Like so, it's in a sense like everything happens for a reason, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna be going to Worlds this year. Whether or not I qualify, I'm probably gonna go to Hawaii. Depending on, I guess the same thing happens at release. But even then, I'll try to figure out a way to just make videos like in my hotel. I was gonna do that in Japan. If I was able to, I was gonna talk to someone who like had like a gaming laptop or something. I would just like record Obsidian Flames content while I was in my hotel in Japan, so I could still get content out because I still like want to make content. I feel really bad, or I really do not like not uploading. Like unless like I come back from regionals the day after, I'm usually just exhausted. And I just physically can't make a video, so I'll just take the time off and take a day or two off of making videos. Like that's a new rule I've made for myself when I come back from a tournament if I'm really tired. But I usually do not like uploading, or not. I usually do not like not uploading. Like I have to upload. So like if I'm away for like a week at Worlds and I'm like not uploading for a week, dude, I'm terrified that
might drive you insane.
Yeah.
So how often do you upload right now? Like every day or every couple days?
Yeah, every day I post a new video. Then I have my second channel, like you said, that I try to upload like 3-4 times a week to, depending on how hot the news is. Like right now, there's not much to make videos on. I just did a video where I looked at 7 rogue decks you can play right now at a Paradox Rift. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I can't. There's no other videos I can think of right now for the second channel to make. But yeah, I usually make like 2 videos a day, 3 videos depending if I have to make a Shuffle Squad video and a second channel video. And then, yeah, I try to find time to stream. But I've been enjoying streaming now more because I'm doing the multi-streams now, where you can stream on both YouTube and Twitch. Because before on Twitch, if you're partnered on Twitch, you weren't allowed to stream to any other platform. But now, I guess because like Kick is super popular now, Twitch is terrified of Kick because it's stealing all the streamers. So
I would be too.
Yeah,
Twitch.
Yeah, so they've allowed multi-streaming now. So you're allowed to multi-stream to YouTube and Twitch. And I've been enjoying streaming on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time now because I have 2 chats to read. I guess I have like more people watching me. It's just a funner time. I'm like interacting more. Nice. So I've been enjoying streaming a lot now.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you have I mean, you have a lot of subscribers, so you have quite the community now. And
Yeah.
even I've noticed. I remember because I kind of took a break from the game and I came back, and like you introduced yourself. Oh, I do like YouTube. Like I didn't realize how big it was, and like we're going for like lunch. It's like, oh, yo, LDF. Or, like,
Oh, yeah.
Bro,
At Shake Shack.
Same
yo, I
thing
remember
happened
that.
to me, man. Yeah.
Everyone just comes up to you all the time at the tournament, like, yo, LDF, here, a picture. So, like, what has that kind of been like now, becoming kind of like a figure in the community? Like, I'm sure every tournament you must have like tons of people coming up to you. Like, what's that been like?
It's very humbling. Like there's times where maybe I'll be like, I kind of want to like just be by myself or like not talk to anyone. But when someone comes up to me, like I can't say no. Like, and I also love interacting with people. And again, it's very humbling. I usually get recognized at tournaments mostly. I have been recognized at Canada's Wonderland though.
That's really
Really?
random.
Dude, I was in line. Yeah, I was in line at the Yukon Striker.
Yeah.
And some guy just like came up, was like it was one of the workers. He was setting up the line fence thing to like extend it, and he like came out, was like, "Yo, you're LittleDarkFury," and I was like, "Yo, that's lit." Like, 'cause I never get recognized outside
That's
of
crazy.
outside of the
You're
tournaments.
like,
It was
damn right
so
I am,
weird.
Little Dark
Yeah.
Fury.
Yeah.
Anything to make that line longer too. It had to be Yukon Striker. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, for anyone who's not from Toronto, Wonderland just like a Six Flags, like
It
amusement
is.
park.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
so,
It's Six Flags.
Yeah.
That's jokes.
That is
That's
actually
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
I
that was
remember
this
one time
year.
I don't remember where we were. We were somewhere and LDF was trying to buy sleeves from one of like the vendors.
Oh my god, yeah.
And bro, like we just drove like 10 hours. We're exhausted. We're trying to go to the hotel. He walks like 2 feet. Yo, LDF. Some guy comes up to him. 2 more feet. Yo, LDF.
LDF, yeah.
And I'm sitting in the back. I'm like, bro, like this has to end eventually. Half an hour later, we got the sleeves. We got to go home. I was so happy, bro.
I remember that. It was Milwaukee, I think.
Was it Milwaukee?
I think so. Yeah.
Bro, this guy's like too famous.
Yeah, you're not Matt anymore. We're just LDF.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when. So I kind of took a break from the game for a bit. Then I went to NAIC like in 2022, and like you were in our car, and I
Yep.
remember we got picked up, and you introduced yourself to me as LDF.
Yeah.
And you're like, who the hell
And
is
then I was
that?
like,
remember
and
that.
I hadn't seen you since we were kids, right? So I'm like, yo, this guy looks so familiar to me. But I'm like,
Yeah.
LDF. I'm like, all right. And then we're in the car, like 20 minutes later. I'm like, wait, is your name Matt?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm like, bro, like, why did you tell me that? I know you, man. Like, why did you introduce yourself?
Dude,
Yeah.
I also did not know you made YouTube content. Like, I think I saw you for the first time at like Manta or something. I was
remember
like,
that,
yo,
yep.
Matt, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, yo, I'm a YouTuber now. Like, oh, sick. Like, I'll check it out one day. Like, me in my head, I'm thinking like, yo, my boy's like a small YouTuber. Like, I gotta go. I gotta support the mans, you know? Like, gotta give him a 5-star review. I get there. It's like, what? Like, what are you at now? Like
50
60K
or 60?
subscribers?
51, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah, I think
51,
I think
wow.
when I first started coming to Manta, I think I had like maybe 30K subs, something
Still
like
though,
that.
like
yeah.
I was expecting 30
For
views,
Pokemon,
bro.
that's like insane. Like,
yeah, yeah.
It was good though. Yeah, no,
Yep.
and I saw it, and then I was like, dude, this is the same guy from the internet. I was
Internet,
like,
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
funny for like all of us in the Toronto scene because everyone's like, "Yo, that's LDF, LDF." We're like, "Yo, that's Matt." Like,
Yeah.
It's Matt, bro.
Yeah.
It's Matt.
Yeah,
That's
and I guess
hilarious.
one thing too as a content creator from Canada, there isn't that many like content creators in Canada. Like most of them obviously come from like the
Yeah.
States. You have me, you, and I would say Zach Lesage, and then I guess Sneaker Talk are like the
Yeah.
4 main Canadian like Pokemon content creators in the TCG scene. And one of my things I want to do is like I just want to push like the Canada agenda more
100%.
forward. Like I always show support to like all the big Canadian players like Rowan or Raymond or whatever. So that's one thing I want to do as a content creator too, is like kind of keep pushing Canada on the map more.
100%. Like, I
So.
think we've, especially the GTA, the past like, couple years, we've had so many great players. Like, like we saw like what's called Rowan won, Raymond won, Estrada won. So we've been, I feel like, getting that recognition now. And yeah, Neil and I, our goal for this podcast too, is just to have Canadian guests, like people who probably wouldn't get a chance to be featured as much or who are like great players. So
yeah.
I'm glad that we like share that goal. And like
Yeah.
I take a lot of pride in being from not just Canada, just being from like Toronto, like the GTA, like how much of a great
Same.
community we have and
I agree.
all the
Yeah.
great players. So
Yeah, because all of your videos and podcast episodes so far have been with a Canadian. I think I don't think you've had an American on
I've
yet.
had Grant and Reagan, but yeah.
Oh,
other
that's
than
true, that's
that-
true, that's
other
true,
than
One
that, it's-
exception.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
ex-
yeah,
Grant's
yeah.
basically Canadian, if I'm being real.
Is he?
So
He's
Oh.
always here.
yeah, he's always here.
Okay,
man.
fair
He's
enough, fair
Canadian,
enough. Okay,
so-
yeah. So yeah, for the most part, you
Yeah.
have this Canadians on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it's just like those are the people I know the best, but like I really do think we have like so many great people who like on push. Like we had like Simon on our podcast,
Yep.
and like Simon's like a legend of the game. Who
He
I think
is, yeah, yeah.
most modern players like don't know who Simon is.
Simon
So
is,
it's
right?
like so guys like that. Like we
And
have,
that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem,
Like,
right?
It's
So-
a problem. Like, and that's what we're trying to eradicate.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even then, like there's a lot of like really. I remember when. Even like around 2019, like there's a lot of great Canadians who like came back to started playing. Like I remember like Curtis would go to League Cups, Curtis Line, like everyone would be like, oh, like did you just start playing? And I'm like, obviously no one's gonna know who he is because they did their new, but I'm like, yo, like that's like the Godfather of Canadian Pokemon. So it's like,
yeah.
so it's like I think
Jokes.
it's just cool to like let a lot of people get the spotlight. And a lot of like up and coming players too, like who like I guess if you're in a local community, like you're doing really well. Like some people like don't get to travel as much, so I just think there's so many great players, and like we do see and I'm guilty of this too, like the same cast of people just rotating through a lot of the content space.
Yeah.
So
And we have a lot of
Yeah.
people on the list. Like in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like thinking like, hey, I want this guy this week, this guy the next
yeah,
week.
100%.
But then like when LDF asks, can I come on the podcast?
yeah, you go
LDF
straight
gets
to the top.
priority.
Yeah,
You go right to the
No, I
top.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
That being said, though, we've been on the air for a while now, so
Yeah.
we'll wrap her up here, bro. Like, thanks so much for coming on, man.
No worries. Thanks for having me
It was
on.
fun. It's fun, like just sitting down, even just talking, right?
Yeah,
like,
we had a, like just it was the
Yeah.
most casual.
It's the most
podcast
casual. Like, I
ever.
feel like it doesn't even feel like we're having a podcast. Man.
Literally,
It just feels like we're
literally,
chopping
yeah.
it up,
That's what
which
we
is
do,
what
baby.
you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe Matt, to close it out, could you tell us your favorite rogue deck or your favorite LDF video of all time?
I got two. The first one is Mad Party Dugong.
Okay.
Oh,
I did really good in a Hegster tournament with that when Hegster was like first starting doing tournaments, and then Azul won a tournament like the same like week with like the same deck. So that was like a cool accomplishment of mine. Is like you said, I created a rogue deck and it did well in a
Someone
tournament.
did something with it. You're like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
sick.
And the other one is Quad Metagross VMAX. That deck
Quad
is
Metagross
sick.
VMAX.
It's not a stall deck. It's
What the
literally
hell is
I don't even
that?
know
You
what
would-
Metagross VMAX
Yeah,
does.
me
yeah,
neither.
yeah.
Yeah.
You attack with it. So it does 100 damage, and then the next turn it does 150 more damage.
Mm.
So it does 250 the following turn. And the deck is literally just 4 Metagross, 4 VMAX. That's it. So you just don't bench anything. So like they literally can't like boss around. So you're just always doing 250 damage, and you just play a ton of healing cards in your deck to try to keep it alive. It's good in like formats
Nice.
where one KO decks don't exist. It can't work
Yeah.
anymore because like Shenpower, Roaring Moon. But back in the day, it was like during the Brilliant Stars Fusion Strike meta. That's when the deck was like actually like kind of sick.
It's like
So-
when Quad Ente almost won.
Yeah.
the Nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same
Or I
thing.
did win
Same thing, yeah.
nationals, but
It did,
Yeah,
right?
it did win,
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I
awesome.
guess there's a
Mhm.
niche for those kinds of decks.
There
Yeah,
is,
there
Yeah.
always is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd say less so now, but back in the day, like definitely, like the meta was a lot more exploitable.
More
So
exploitable, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
100%.
anymore, bro.
So-
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, Matt, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you
So
for having
before we
me
sign
again.
off,
Appreciate you, bro.
you can, if you want, you can look at the camera right there. Plug whatever you want to plug. I think everyone, if you're watching our podcast, they definitely probably
There's
already know
no
who
way you
are.
don't know his.
But
Yeah.
know ours.
In the
No,
off
that might
chance,
be the one
in the
person.
off chance, that one person who doesn't know you,
Mhm.
where can they find you? Plug whatever you want.
You can find me on Twitch, YouTube at LittleDarkFury, and Twitter at LittleDarkFury. You can check out my second YouTube channel, LDF PTCG. We're actually just hit 9K subs. We're getting close to 10,000
Oh,
subs
wow.
on the second channel. So
Gotta-
yeah.
I got a sub to that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I'm
Yeah,
sad.
yeah,
Don't worry, bro.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
not a real one, apparently. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on. We're definitely
having
not
me.
using an iPhone to record. You know,
No, definitely
it's
not.
just,
No,
this is
no,
a
no,
very
iPhone here.
professional
Yeah,
setup,
yeah,
which I
yeah,
know
yeah.
you're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
For fun.
this
Thanks,
was
bro.
great. Shout out again to Manta Trading for
Yes.
hosting us, letting us
Yeah.
film here.
Always.
And I think Anil and I both, we want to like film at the card stores across the GTA, so
Mhm.
just help promote the local scene and all that.
That'd
But,
be actually kind of cool.
Free
yeah, I
rent.
think it would be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, also let us know which Canadian guests you guys want to have on the show, or if you're a Canadian player and you know
You
us,
never
reach
know.
out. So
Hey, shoot your shot.
shoot your
man.
shot. You might get
Exactly.
your podcast.
You never
so,
know. You never know.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody.
Anyways, thanks for
coming back.
watching.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Yeah.
weeks. We're no episode next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Cool.
Appreciate
Fair
y'all.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Later.
Peace.